Hey guys, we're live. We're live. How are you? Do you ever regret buying a Rolex? No! No. Why would you regret buying a Rolex? That's crazy. Okay guys, captains, lieutenants, get on the channel now. Posting the link. Marco, jump on here. Let's get this show underway. Bear! No. That's exactly right, the bear. Tim, jump on. I'm still in class. Okay. That's okay. I gotta tell you. Rolex is it. I'm just going to turn the aircon on. It's a bit hot in my room. Rolex. I love Rolex. Absolutely nub gunner. Rolex or bust. I got to be honest with you. Rolex is the way to go. I made a video today on the ArchieLuxury channel. It came out today. And that video said there, what did it say today? I released it. It was yesterday. The greatest Rolex of modern times. Greatest Rolex. What is it? The Submariner Steel Sports, because I think you want the strength of steel. Let's be totally honest there. You want a watch which is steel. It's going to be waterproof. You don't want it too flashy. You know, you want to just slither in. You would like a date. Date is always, if you're a one and done man, date is always a handy thing. One and done. One and done. You always like to have a date. And then, you know what? You know what? One and done Rolex. That's correct. It's Steel Sports. Steel Sports. I gotta be totally honest with you. Steel Sports. A GMT function watch is too hard. You know, 24-hour time is hard to work out and read. It's a chronograph. You've got to unscrew the pushers. Sub. Okay, here we go. Tudor Black Bay 36 blue with ETA. Hold or sell now. $2 super chat from Grendel 62. Tudor Black Bay 36. Dump it. It depends what you're going to do with the money. If you're going to put the money into an Explorer, Rolex, yes. A Black Bay 58, yes. You're going to put the money into a Breitling? No. Put the money into, what are you going to use the money for? So I'd honestly, I got to tell you, I think the 36, bit small. Bit small for a sports watch. Bit small for a sports watch. So, yeah, that's kind of my view there. Bit small for a sports watch. It is a bit small. I like the Black Bay 36. Great watch, great thing. But, done and done. Thanks, Pontiff. There you go. Yeah, I got to tell you, I think a lot of the Tudors, people are thinking, you know, they're going to hold investment-wise. No. They're not Rolex. They are not Rolex. Remember that. What's Bear? Yeah. Where is Marco today? Where's he gone? He's gone? I don't know. Maybe this early time, maybe I should have come on later. You know, it's just getting the mojo to pop. That's okay. They can't come on. Here we go. Hey, Marco,
Oh,
my man. Am I a bit early today? Tell me, what do you think?
no, it was me. I'm behind.
Hey, man. Do you ever regret buying a Rolex? Well, you've never bought one, but I got to tell you, no. The Mask, $10. Went to 2 ADs in Bris Vegas in the 90s. Was told I had to buy other bullshit first. Not disappointed with Rolex because I didn't buy one.
Interesting.
In the 90s, you could get a Pepsi. You could get a Coke. Sub. They were standard stock. They were standard. You could get all this stuff. And Matthew Stewart, $8. What do you think about the Patek 5124G with salmon copper dial? My good friend Dave actually had this very said watch. I actually almost did a swap for my 5127 because I had two of them. It's a fantastic watch. Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. It's a gondolo as well. It's that same theme. Personally, I reckon the 5111 is more beautiful, but there's nothing wrong with a 5124. There's nothing wrong with that watch. I think it's gorgeous. The salmon is beautiful. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. It's a gorgeous piece. How could you not love it? It is absolutely gorgeous. And my friend sold it through Vintage Watch Co. It went through Vintage Watch Co. Bargain price. He sold it too cheap. He sold it for about 22,000 Aussie, which I thought was
bargain. In the summer, I saw one on Chrono 24 sell for 17,000 Canadian box papers.
Yes.
Not an extract.
Wow.
I'm talking papers. It's unbelievable.
Brian BK, $2. Marco needs a Rolex so he shows up on time.
Yeah, Arch, this is what I'm gonna do because Bear put me into contact with one of his gray market friends who's from Toronto,
Yes.
so I won't have to pay the import taxes. So I'm gonna
Yes.
text the sales rep I'm with at the AD. I'm gonna say, listen, I'm in contact with somebody who can get it to me slightly over retail. Tell him like $200 over retail, and I'm gonna push his buttons a little bit. If he can't get it to me like in a month or 2 months, then I'm just gonna buy it off the gray market.
Just buy it off the grey market.
Yeah,
let's be
that's
honest.
it. No, I'm gonna text him. Listen, I'm gonna text him.
You don't want to play these AD games. These AD games, it's all
I don't want to do
bullshit.
it, Arch.
Look,
Because Arch, to me, I want a one and done Rolex. I want an Explorer one, and I want to move on to other brands. Arch, these games, like I'm sorry, Rolex is a great watch, but it's not worth the hassle. Arch, is it really worth the hassle?
Yes.
I don't know if it's worth the hassle, Arch. I don't know if it's worth the hassle.
Look, I got to tell you, it's funny you say that. It's very funny you say that. Look, what is anything in life worth the hassle? You know, actually, I was making, before I came on the show today, I was actually, at the moment, I got two watches out, okay? Because everything else, I made that video, I had everything out, and I've taken it all back into the bank safe. So the only two watches I've got is my Submariner. I got the Submariner, right?
The 41 mil that the rodents can't get.
And the other watch I've got is
Ooh, the 5127.
5126. 5126.
5126. Yes, you're right. Sorry.
Yeah,
5196. Excuse me. What am I saying?
5196. 5196. 51. Oh, we're losing it.
We're off form, Arch. We're off form. My bad.
We're off form. Now I got to tell you, it had a little speck there. I've just cleaned that up now. Now I got to tell you honestly.
Look at that.
You know what? Seriously, is Rolex overrated? We got Plastic on there. Plastic. Hello, Plastic. How are you?
Hello, gentlemen. How are you today?
How are you, man?
Hey, we're great. I got to tell you seriously. The thing is, I've gone to these other brands, but Rolex always lures me back. Let me tell you why. Can I tell you why?
Mm-hmm.
Number one, Rolex is waterproof. As long as it's not a Cellini, it's waterproof. It's got a proper screw-in crown.
Okay.
Number two, they're usually on a metal bracelet because, you know, if it's a leather strap, it's not really sustainable for water. So
Well, they're on rubber.
Rubber, yeah, rubber wears out. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I don't
Rubber
like
will
rubber.
eventually deteriorate. You know, it's a petrochemical. Rubber is a petrochemical.
Do we know what the lifespan of a good Oyster Flex rubber is at the moment?
No.
I mean, you can get the rubber V's, Arch, but those are exclusive kind of.
No, I'm talking about Rolex proprietary rubber.
I gotta tell you,
Oyster
honestly,
Flex.
I think they go downhill. They can't last forever. You know, rubber is. The thing is this, Marco. Rolex is not the greatest. Okay, it's not haute horology. It's not this. It's not that. But it's waterproof. The steel is really, I don't know what it is. I got a steel reverso, so you think the steel reverso, it's a scratch magnet. Okay, it's a scratch magnet. I got to tell you, honestly, Marco, you know something really? If I wanted to fill this box here, my 3 Rolex with the 1 Patek, that's it. That's all you'd need. That's it. It's
Arch,
more
can I
than
tell you
enough.
something, though?
Yes.
You know I like my finance, right? So I like to project things. I like to analyze things critically, right?
Yes.
Now think
Yes.
about it this way, Arch. Let's be honest with one another. The dress watch market isn't what it was a few years ago, right? It just isn't. We got a super chat. Let's get this super chat.
Showcase watches £5. Now Marco is now talking like a Rolex man. Pay a few hundred above retail and flip the AD the bird. Don't kiss ass to get Rolex. Pay the piper.
Yeah, it's probably what I'm going to do. I'm going to be honest. As long as, because Arch, the one thing I didn't want to do is I didn't want to pay the piper and then pay 15% import duties on top.
Yes.
Mate, reach out to Bear Clooney. He said he can get you one.
Yeah,
maybe
exactly.
Slightly
He put me in
used
contact.
at retail price. Yeah.
Yeah, he put me in contact with the guy. So I'm gonna text my
Awesome.
AD and then text the gray market dealer.
Well, you know what the best thing to do is? It's like applying for a job. Can I give you some life advice?
Tell me.
Okay, many years ago, I was applying for a job and I was shortlisted. They said, Paul, we want you to do this job. And I said to them, hey, I'm really keen. Thank you so much. I've just got another job offer I'm waiting to hear from. Guess what? That's like telling a girl you're happy to go out with her, but you've got another girl who's ahead of her. You
Don't
know
tell
what?
the AD. Yeah,
Don't tell the AD nothing. Until you've got the other watch in your hand, don't waste your time. Okay?
And if the AD watch comes in, sell the one you got from Bear and keep the one from the AD. It's as simple as that. You won't lose money at all.
Yeah, exactly. Marco, don't be silly, because I got to be honest with you. Marco, don't be polite. Okay,
and then
Dennis Valachi, $5. Big boy, been looking at pulling the trigger on a Tudor Pelagos State of Qatar. What are your thoughts? Good investment? I got to tell you, for starters,
Rolex.
I never really been a big fan of these State of Qatar things. They're not my cup of tea. Some people think, look. Personally, I honestly would just get
I don't get it. The State of Qatar.
Arch, you know what I'd tell him? You know what I'd tell him? Sell all your watches and go buy the S&P 500. Go collect something else, man.
If it's exactly, Marco. Exactly.
Watches are not investments, man.
If you were from Qatar, it's okay, but most people can't even read that squiggly stuff. You know, I mean, if you're from Qatar, you know. Sorry, you were saying, Marco.
Yeah,
How come you got such bad echo there, Plastic? You sound like you're in a toilet. What's going on?
No, I'm just using my Is it echoing? Is it? Maybe I can try the settings again. I'll play the settings. Hang on.
Let's be honest with one another, right? This is a conversation I want to have with you. The dress watch market is not what it used to be 5, 10.
It's not 1996 anymore.
Exactly, right? So think about it this way. All watch brands are going to have to pivot away from dress watches and into sports watches. So what are we going to see more and more? I think that the Zenith Chronomaster Sport, you know the Zenith Chronomaster, obviously, is just the tip of the iceberg. This is what's going to happen.
Stop. You know what I think's happened? Let me
Across
tell
the
you this,
industry.
Marco. Let me tell you this. You know what I think's happened? I think the reverse has happened. Stud Muffin, $2. Rolex AD in Chicago, accused of racketeering. Yikes. Yes, and if you go to the ArchieLuxury channel, I made a video about this 2 days ago, Stud Muffin. Very, very nasty.
Is it still okay?
No, it's not. It's not.
Hang on,
It's
I'll
not
unplug
better.
it. Hang on.
But Arch, think about it this way.
How's that?
All the brands are going to pivot to
No
create
different.
more sports watches on metal
Look, you
bracelets.
don't understand.
that
I
are
think
waterproof.
Rolex these days
Is that
is even
better?
worse. That's
It's
terrible.
even worse.
I'll take off. I'll catch you later, guys.
Okay, see you later,
Take
plastic.
care, Plastic.
Love you. Look, I got to tell you this. You know what? All watches now, anything that's not an Apple Watch or a G-Shock, guess what? Guess what, Marco?
Tell me.
It's a dress watch. This is no different to a
Right.
Patek. This is no different. You know why? No holes case. Solid. This is a dress. This has become a dress watch. Any wristwatch
Right.
that isn't an app. So basically, what's happened is any analog watch. You know, these basically are these are fashion items. So what you're saying is, I would totally say it's what you're saying is true, but this would probably never go into a pool. You understand? Most people don't. I think honestly, any watch nowadays that isn't an Apple Watch is a dress watch.
But this is what I want to
Okay.
say, Arch, right? I agree with you on that. Their brands aren't going to commit to making as many dress watches as they used to, right? So what they're going to make are watches like these, the Zenith Chronomaster Sports, which is a sports watch on a metal bracelet. And you're going to see more and more releases from brands like Zenith, more and more releases from brands like Omega, like other brands, right? All kinds, luxury brands. Because ultimately, like Patek just discontinued the 5711 because they're the only ones who can do it, right? They have the other ranges that they can fall back on. But these other brands can't. They don't make.
Yeah, but they're going to bring something else out. You know this, don't you?
Exactly. So what they're going to bring something else out, right? But these other brands, what they're going to have to do to compete more effectively for market share of the watch industry is they're going to have to come out with steel sports watches. Arch,
Look,
they can't survive
okay.
making dress watches.
Look, I think what's going to happen is Stephen K, $5. I agree. When I was working in financial markets, the sub was the business fashion watch of choice for most guys.
Desk
Look,
diving.
let me say this. What I think is going to happen is this is all led by the Chinese. Okay? China. Okay? You look at why is real estate so expensive in Vancouver? Why?
Yeah.
Chinese.
100%. Yeah.
Why has this watch market gone crazy? It's not American buyers, it's Chinese. The
Yeah, the
Chinese is they're
Arch, I
sucking.
read this. What was it from? I forget who it's from. It's like this major analyst house. The Chinese watch market grew by 44% last year in 2020.
Now, what do you
And
think?
it was down across the board.
let me just run this by you. So they're into Rolex now, right?
Yeah.
That's like buying a Mercedes. What happens when they discover Patek, brands like that? They've already started to go into the Nautilus and the Aquanaut. They're going to start buying more conservative watches. I think, honestly, dress watches are going to have a massive comeback. Things like the World Time, things like...
I don't see it that way, Arch. I mean, think about it. We're dressed more informally than ever. I mean, I'm wearing a white T-shirt and a zipped-up blazer because otherwise I'm in pajama pants all day. Like, that's it, right? Arch?
And I understand, but
young kids who are getting into the watch collecting hobby, they want sports watches, and so for brands to get that market share, the younger clients, and even like guys in their 30s and 40s who are dressing more and more informally, they're going to need to make more sports watches, Arch, and that's going to hurt Rolex's bottom line in the future. I'm not talking 5 years. I'm talking 10 to 20 years time. Where, I mean, is it even worth it having a Rolex AD relationship long term if all these watch brands are most likely going to create more and more sports watches that are competing with the likes of Rolex?
No, but Rolex is king. Everybody wants Rolex. You know what
Yeah,
I
but
mean?
Arch,
That's what they want. They
But
want that. Rolex is becoming the grail. Like Patek. Here, J. Wright, £2. ETA was founded by Eterna. That's right. Opinion on Eterna. That's right. The Eterna, they had things like the Contiki, the Eterna-matic. They had so many classic things. That's exactly right. You know what? I actually, when I moved my bookshelves before, I actually found a catalog on Eterna. And I got to say this to you. They make some boring watches. That's the sort of watch an accountant would buy.
But Arch, think about it this way, right? I get Rolex is king and we all want what we can't have. But
yes,
more brands are going to capture more and more market share of the watch industry. Why? Because of watches like this, which can be had eventually probably at about 30 to 40% off retail. You can buy it right away, and you don't have to play any AD games, as opposed to a Rolex Daytona, which is impossible to get. It's like double or triple over retail. And ultimately, if you want it,
not going to
$1 gazillion, $1 gazillion, and you can't get it still.
Okay. Mark P, £5. Archie, Marco and Bear, should I sell the Sky Dweller Blue, paid grey, and get the Vacheron Overseas Blue instead? The wife backs the VC, but what does the Don say? Let me tell you this. I tell you honestly. Would I sell a Sky Dweller Blue to get the Vacheron Overseas? You know what? You got to have rocks in your head. You know why? The Rolex is... You know what? I would get... If you want to get an Overseas, get Gen 2. Gen 2. Okay? I turned one down at $7 US. $7 US! Okay, it was a white dial. It was naked. No box and papers. It was naked. Actually, I picked up that term from Timepiece Gentleman. Naked, meaning no box or papers. I got to tell you, go for a Gen 2 for 7,000. Why would you? A Vacheron is nowhere in the same league as a Rolex Sky Dweller. You got to have rocks in your head.
It's so much better, Arch. Geneva
just buy a Gen 2.
It's so much better. Geneva seal case, Geneva seal
but
movement.
You understand, what about a Vacheron? Listen to this. This is crazy. Let me say this to you. You know the Pateks that are valuable? People say, oh, Gen 2 hasn't got in-house. It's got a JLC movement. You know what? Which Pateks are the most valuable?
The Lamania base. But
the Lamania base.
We all know you can, that's not a fair comparison, Arch. Hold on. Go ahead.
Stephen K., $10 New Zealand. Something to think about. Many smart and Apple watches are of the same size and shape as old school dress watches. Surely it's conceivable that the dress watch market could make a comeback. You bet you. 100%. But you know what the key is? Buy the brand. Rolex, Patek. You want to buy the heavy hitting brands.
I'll say this, Arch.
You buy the icons. I've always said, buy the icons. Buy the icons.
Arch, sometimes shouldn't we just buy what we love? Forget value retention. Like, I get it. You would say keep the. Let's be honest. You're saying keep the Sky Dweller instead of the Overseas, because the Overseas has greater potential to tank versus the Sky Dweller, which will continue to rise in value because it's from Rolex, right? But the Overseas is unquestionably a better watch, Arch.
Unquestionably, but what I'm saying is, why do you need to sell the Sky Dweller when all you can do is get a Gen 2, then you've got both? Wouldn't it be cooler? Would you rather have a Gen 3 Overseas or keep the Sky Dweller and buy a Gen 2 for 7? Wouldn't that be a better option? Yes or no?
It depends if you like the Gen 2 styling, right? It's a little bit more...
The Gen 2 has got the better dial. It's got the really beautiful dial.
I don't know. I prefer the sunburst dial of the Gen 3 Arch. And I prefer the bezel on the Gen 3.
I actually prefer the Gen 2.
I know. I guess that's just a difference of opinion, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, you know why it's so crazy like that? It's because who drives Vacheron? Who's the market for Vacheron?
China.
Chinese.
Yeah.
Chinese. So Chinese want the latest and greatest. What the Chinese don't understand is the previous ones were often better. So as soon as the Chinese, you know, the slack, like an elastic band, once that snaps back, seriously, you'd have to be nuts to sell a Sky Dweller to buy a Gen 3. I've lost all respect for Vacheron after I've seen the resale prices of Gen 2. What's wrong with it? And also, you look at the overseas chronograph. Look at the previous model of that. That's also an absolute bargain. Absolute bargain.
12, right? It's got the big date at 12. Yeah.
Yep.
Those are good bang per buck value also.
Amazing bang per buck. So I've got to be totally honest with you. Don't look, I want to say this to you. Are we going more sports watches? Well, you know what? We are. But I think at the very high echelon, things like Patek, Lange. Oops, sorry. Hey, JJ.
Hey, what's going on? Sorry I'm late.
Hey, that's okay, man.
Had a little...
Lange doesn't really make sports watches. That Odyssey, that's just a Richmond knee-jerk reaction. But seriously, Lange, I gotta tell you, man, seriously, you know what with Lange? That's a dress watch company. That's one of the greatest. I think the greatest two brands of all time is Patek and Lange. Okay?
I have a hard time going Lange just because it's still a Phoenix brand, right? I mean,
yes, it is,
but around 30 years, let's be honest. Like 30 or 40.
The thing is, with Lange, they've put a lot of effort in. This is how amazing it is. I think it's better than Vacheron or AP. They've got a really good product range. The Lange one, they got some amazing, the Zeitwerk.
The 1815
the Datagraph.
Yeah, 100%.
And their Langmatic,
Datagraph is amazing.
Yeah. And they were the first, right, Arch? They were the first to make in-house movements.
CB, $5. Vacheron, Gen 3 is the next 5711. I don't think so.
Listen,
I don't think so.
Richmond
will always stuff it up. Richmond will always stuff it up. Because Richmond, look what they did to Pam. How did that work out for Panerai? They owned the spot. People, here we go, CB $5. Not sure why the more VC is put down, the more I desire it. You know what, CB? I love VC. I think there's some bargains. Don't always do what's trendy. You don't need affirmation from morons, okay? You don't need affirmations from morons. You know the thing that gets me? Let me say this to you, Marco. I have these super rich, novo rich people who come to me and say, you know what? I got Rolexes. Now I want to get into Patek. And as soon as they talk about Patek, I know what they're going to say. Aquanaut and Nautilus.
Yeah, exactly.
And I got to tell you, they don't understand. If you understood the history, you understood the development, you would say the Aquanaut and Nautilus are nice, but World Time, Perpetual Calendar, that's where you'd be going. Annual Calendar, that's where you'd go. You wouldn't actually go in
but
for...
Arch, this is the thing. This is what I'm telling you, right? The watch market has changed. Ultimately, young people have exacerbate a lot of control on the market and the decision these brands are making. So I think that more and more brands are going to make more and more sports watches that are going to compete with the likes of Rolex, and it's going to hurt their bottom line inevitably.
It'll make Rolex even more desired. Everybody wants what they can't have. Run the shrink, $2. What are your favorite watches? Who's that for? Me or for Marco?
I mean, listen, there's a lot of great watches out there, Arch. I mean, the one reason, Arch, I would say I wouldn't put, what's his name, Lange and Patek kind of in the same conversation is purely for the history. It's not because I don't think that Lange doesn't make great watches. It's just they've only been around 30 years. Like, can they compare with the history of someone like a Breguet that's been around a lot longer?
Well, Breguet's a Phoenix as well, really, isn't it?
Yeah, but what about VC that's been around since 1755? You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. Like, it's hard to justify Lange, who's only been around
is the length of
years. Go ahead.
Yeah, but is the length of time like the deciding factor? I mean, Lange puts so much effort into their finish and their watches, and they may have amazing styling. I mean, they're on another level. I mean, if you really put history aside,
Hold on, guys. We got to get these super chats very quickly.
Sorry, here we go. Stud Muffin, $5. Marco is right. New and young buyers prefer sporty over dress. The same thing is happening in the car industry. Young people control the market now. Actually, that's so true because you look at it, everyone wants an X5. They don't buy 5 Series anymore. They don't buy the 5, which is I love the 5 Series. Next super chat, we got a super chat. ER.
Hold on, we got one before that one.
Sorry. Ooh, $20 from Roblexian Girl, $20. I have 18 Rolex, including all the great steel models. I know they're at an all-time high. Would you sell now and cash out, or should I keep them knowing any investment would be safe? At least what I paid for them. Okay, for starters, let me tell you my opinion here. Well, then we've got to get on to the next one. Seriously, you want my honest advice there? America is printing money. Okay, 40% of the banknotes in existence today didn't exist before COVID. They are printing money. So that means you're going to have artificial inflation. You got to put your money into a store of wealth, whether that's gold bullion, whether it's watches, whether it's real estate. You've got to put your money. Personally, watches are one of the best stores of wealth because it's transportable. You can avoid death duties because people don't even what the tax man doesn't know, the tax man can't see, what he can't tax. It is a ultimate asset. So personally, if I were you, I would just hold. Now is not the time to be selling. ER, $100. Hello, War. Rainbow, Daytona, Arch and Crew. Your thoughts and get it up, big boy. Okay,
Do
this
it,
watch here.
Do it.
Personally, I think it's way over the top. I think it's over the top. Look, I think for ER, she could carry it off.
Right.
What do you think? What's your opinion? Marco, throw some advice in there.
Yeah, Arch. In terms of a precious metal kind of gem set watch, I think it's right
gorgeous.
Up there. It's right up there as one of the best ever. It's unbelievable, Arch.
JJ, what do you think? JJ.
I think it would look great on her. I mean, listen, you got to be a little bit flamboyant to have something that expensive.
I think for a lady,
but I think she could definitely pull it off. And
yeah,
right.
Most people would just think.
Watch, Arch. This is like.
Well, let me throw it. The only decision I would have: do you buy that or a platinum Daytona with baguette diamonds?
No, this is better, Arch. Unquestionably.
Also, if she could get this from the deal, if she could get this from the dealer, she's up 150,000 already. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think for the money, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. Go for it.
Arch, it is an incredible watch. I mean, everybody in the industry copied Rolex after this release, so it just goes to show you how good it was.
Yes. Fair
it's
point.
So out of left field that John Mayer said this about this watch. It's like it's so like something you wouldn't expect, and it just works. It just pops, you know. So yeah.
I think for a lady, it's perfect, especially a wealthy lady.
Pull the trigger.
Right. It's the perfect watch for a wealthy woman who's in style right now.
Jeff Strike Matter, $5. Rolex. Thank you. And Kel Venator, $10. Is a Longines Master okay for a first watch? The lady discounted me from 42 to 36. No, never buy a Longines. Longines is mass produced. Longines is the Chrysler that used to be the Mercedes-Benz of America. Now Chrysler is garbage.
Yeah,
Longines watch.
Arch, I bought my PAM for $3,000. What do you think?
A Longines is sold somewhere in the world every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, they're not a collectible watch. Sorry, it's not the answer you wanted to hear, Kel. But let me tell you honestly.
Take care, ER.
Keep saving. Buy a Tudor for that. ER. Okay, guys, thank you all. Have to run, going to the hair salon. Ciao, ciao, all. ER, seriously, I think it's a beautiful watch. It's a lot of money. I personally don't think I could pull it off, but I think you could.
Yeah, you would look ridiculous wearing that, Arch, to be honest with you.
I actually did meet a mobster in Melbourne who wore it, okay? Russian mafia in Melbourne.
Really?
I met Russian mafia. Very nice. He knew who I was. Archie! This was in Watches of Switzerland, actually.
Yeah, just going back to the super chat, I would say, Arch, avoid Longines at all costs.
Yeah, I think he's talking Aussie dollars, not US, by the way, because
Yeah.
he's
Oh,
paid
okay,
me.
okay.
But still, 3,600. That's 2,500 US. You know, 2,500 US. Keep saving. Keep
Yeah, just
saving.
get a Tudor, Pam.
Get a Tudor. Yeah, don't buy Longines. Longines is, it's. I'd rather have a tag than a Longines. What do you think, Marco?
Yeah, 100%.
I'd rather get a tag.
Maybe I'm a sucker for their marketing because potentially Longines is a better watch brand, but you know, I mean, listen.
Longines is not a better watch. They glue
starter,
dials. They do gold plating. They do a lot of cardinal
let's
sins.
Be honest. These starter watches, right? You're probably going to sell them off once you get into more serious watches. So
yeah, they're worth nothing. Nobody wants the Longines.
It's all about value retention, and Tag Heuer will retain its value better. So yeah, 100%. Just going back to this one, Arch. I got to say this, okay? I got to say this. If you're buying watches for investments, I hate that, Arch. I can't tell you how much it's my biggest pet peeve. I cannot stand it anymore. It's like, don't buy watches as an investment. Buy them because you like them, you know? No,
but I do think, what do you put money into? Let's be honest, the stock market is crazy. Crypto is nasty. It's just, we're about to head for the biggest depression in global history. Money will be devalued because they're printing it at an extraordinary rate.
That's why I'm trying to buy Rolex.
Seriously, I understand what he's doing. If I was him, seriously, I would hold. Now's not the time to sell. Hold until the storm is over. If you can retain your money there. See, the problem is we've got low interest. Everything's artificial. Interest rates are so low. We've got inflation is so low, but it's not low because it's a rigged game. Personally, I would hold. If you've got, I know a guy. He's actually an accountant. He's got over $1 million in watches just holding. Rolex, Lange. That's amazing collection. To some extent, Marco.
If they try to raise interest rates, it's going to crash down.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
but they're not going to raise interest rates till in 2022 at least, didn't they say?
Right, but the minute they start trying to, that's when you're going to see everything fall apart.
Yeah, and once they stop pumping money into the bond market and...
But I got to say, if you're going to put money somewhere and you want it to be liquid, I think watches is the new commodity. Gold, you try leaving a country with a suitcase full of gold bars. Ding, 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 money laundering, money laundering, money laundering. You go in with a couple of Pateks. Oh, just my watch collection. Oh, okay, come through, sir. Stephen K. Archie, I'm an economist. You are 100% correct. Wow. Look at that. There we go.
Yeah, 100%.
It is. We are heading for the biggest depression in living history.
It's going to be like the 70s. I think it's going to be like the 70s. High unemployment and high inflation. It's called
I'm very worried.
Economics. Stagflation.
The economies are doing really well, but I'm really worried. And to be honest with you, is this vaccine? Have you been vaccinated yet, Marco? I think you're a frontline contender coming on this show all the time. We need you healthy.
Yeah, Arch, I don't really leave my house, to be honest with you, except to go see my grandparents, but that's about it.
You want the AstraZeneca one. Get the AstraZeneca one, not the other one, okay?
I know Rolex got vaccinated, but I don't know if I want to get vaccinated just quite yet. Let's wait a little bit, see what the ramifications.
I'll take the vax. I'll take the vax anytime.
Yeah.
See, I've already had kids, so it doesn't really matter now.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's not for that. It's just, for me, it causes me, like, I don't want to, like, impugn vaccines, right? Because at the end of the day, obviously a lot of research went into it, but it was, 10 months, 12 months of work and research that went into it? For a vaccine, usually it's 3 years at least that it needs to go through the testing. That makes me worried as spike. And it's a very lucrative, this COVID vaccine, let's be honest. So these pharma companies want to push out as many as possible, right?
Hey, of course. Hey, where's what's his name gone? JJ, he fell off. What happened?
He disconnected. I think he's coming back, but he's going to his setup because
Plastic, are you there?
Yeah, is
Plastic, we want to talk to you. Putting money into watches. A guy's got 18 Rolex. Good idea or a dumb idea? Yes, no. You're the man. Just tell me, Plastic.
I wouldn't sell. Just hold.
Exact. I think at the moment, prices are high. It's like Bitcoin, okay? Prices are high. I wouldn't be buying more but I wouldn't be selling either.
Yeah, Arch. I mean, even if, like, let's say the Rolex market takes like a hit, for example, right? Theoretically, how much will it go down by, Arch? The demand for Rolex is so high. I mean, theoretically, what's going to be the hit? It's going to be 5, 10%, 20% maybe, but it won't be on Daytona.
Would you put money into Bitcoin or Rolex? What would you prefer?
Oh, that's very hard because the long-term prospects of Bitcoin are actually quite good, Arch, as it's being implemented more and more, and it's being accepted.
It could be made
more.
illegal from governments all around the world, and it's
yeah,
worth
exactly.
nothing.
Like, if you're willing to take a risk, I would say Bitcoin. But if you want something that is a lot less risky, I would definitely say Rolex, Arch.
Guys, I think the next depression, recession, whatever we're talking about, is going to be a very slow burn. I don't think it's going to just hit us overnight. And I think the commodity, what do you call it?
The link, Arch, for JJ, okay? I just posted the link.
Post the link. And
the assetization, yeah, I think it's going to take a long time for this recession to really dig in, but it is coming.
Ooh.
Hey,
ABC,
Archie, hey,
how
guys.
are you, man?
ABC, iconic.
Investing in Rolex. Would you invest in Rolex? Yes or no?
Well, what does history show over the past 20 odd years?
Investing in Rolex. Would you?
It's always going up. It's always been going up constantly for the past at least 20 years. Do the math, as they say.
Yeah, ABC. Most models have outperformed the S&P 500, like the modern GMT Masters, even the old Daytonas. They've outperformed what the S&P has done over the last 50 years, which is pretty crazy, to be honest with you.
Oh,
I'll tell you what,
easily.
Rolex prices, guys, a short, sharp hyper war. That will crash prices of everything. Like a massive, say, Canada and the US go at it. That will really drop prices.
I think also ABC, what benefits Rolex is it's so liquid. Like, you can buy and sell Rolex so quickly and easily, as opposed to a lot of other brands.
They're like blank checks. Name your price, someone will always take them off your hands.
Liquidity on them is just so insane that's why I don't, even if, like, let's say we enter a global recession, right, or a depression, as Archie's predicting. I mean, what will take a hit? Rolex prices by what? 5%?
Archie, you remember back in the day when Kuwait got invaded?
Ah, that's right. In the 90s, early 90s.
It's those short, sharp hyper wars. They're the ones that drop prices on things like Rolex.
Let me tell you this.
War.
If you were me, okay, as an investment fund manager at ArchieLuxury Incorporated, should I sell some of my Pateks to put into Rolex?
Yes, I would. I think that's a very good.
What would you sell, ABC? Tell me what you would sell. What would you sell?
Keep the 6006.
5127 easily. That has to go. Because you got the 5196. The 5196 is, to quote a certain someone, it's iconic, right?
Yeah,
It's
it
iconic.
is.
It's iconic. It's pure class.
So what would you put money into? What would you sell off and what would you buy?
Daytona.
You got to spread your money around in investments, because here's the thing.
Diversify.
Plastic hit the nail on the head, I think. People think it's going to be like when COVID happened and we had that sharp drop over a couple of weeks. That's not how the next one's going to go. It's going to slowly bleed us out like pigs. The thing is, you don't know, are we going to go into hyperinflation? I keep hearing you guys saying inflation, but a lot of experts are saying we're not going to go into inflation. We're going to go deflationary. And if we go deflationary, all the watches are going to get cheaper according to that metric. So you don't really know for sure. That's the thing. And that goes for watches, gold, Bitcoin, any of that stuff. Stock.
But you know what? What could happen is watches could go up, but food could go down and other costs could go down. So it doesn't mean that every sector will go down if there's deflation. Certain sectors may rise. Steve Cordaro, $5. An AD offered a new Vacheron Constantine blue dial overseas, very hot watch. It's selling over retail. I would rather put my dollars into a gold piece like a Royal Oak Gold Owl or a gold Rolex sub. Thoughts? 100% agree. I would go sub. The gold owl is expensive and AP is a bit funny, but a gold sub, I tell you what I'd rather do. You know what I'd rather do if I had the money like that? You're going to put it in. Why don't you get a steel sub? Sub. And I got to tell you, let's be completely honest. Let me throw it out there. Steel sub, date. Explorer 2 is a sleeper because they're about to release a new model in a couple months' time and get a no-date wind and wear steel. Explorer 2, Milgauss, Air King.
Get the overseas.
I'd rather put...
Get the overseas, Arch. You got to get that. The overseas is a gorgeous watch, Arch. Come on.
It's
man.
over. Vacheron is China. They will pump and dump as soon as Gen 4 comes out. Gen 3 will be worthless because the Chinese don't respect their elders.
Look at that, Arch. Bear is not
Bear
happy.
Clooney watches gold Rolex sub versus Vacheron Constantine overseas. Fike me dead. Yeah, you got to go Rolex.
No.
Zero.
You mean the other way around, Arch.
03 Just Ricks $5. Trade Omega, first Omega in space for an Explorer 2. Explorer 1, grab the Rolex. I have a steel Daytona and a GMT 2 and a Tudor 58 get rid of the first Omega in space. Get the Explorer. Rolex.
And dump the Tudor, in my opinion.
Yeah, the first Omega in space is not a crap watch. Come on.
I'd rather have the Explorer 1, but we're talking investment potential here.
Yeah,
Go
honestly,
Rolex.
That's not what it's all about, as
first
Marco
Omega in
said.
space.
It's not all about the investment. Come on.
Yeah.
I think you're better off to have the Rolex. It is bulletproof. Believe you me, I've gone crazy.
It's more iconic.
Well, isn't the first Omega in space more iconic because it was the first one
I'd say
to
Explorer
pretend
1 is
to
more
go
iconic.
out of the Earth's orbit?
Explorer 1 is the dog of the range. I wouldn't say it's more iconic.
Yeah, it's not.
I think it's the dog. I love the Explorer 1. That's the quintessence.
No, Air King. Air King is the dog.
Air King's the dog.
Yeah, all right. But I mean, Air King, Milgauss, and the Explorer 1 are in the.
I'd go Z Blue, but everyone would say I'm only just saying that because I've got one. Z Blue.
But I'm saying those are second tier compared to Daytona, a GMT, and a sub. They're second tier sports watches in all reality.
Kelvinator, $10. Not having the vaccine, it's like having the fireys out the front door as your house is burning, and you say, no, don't come in. I don't want water damage.
Listen, we're not saying don't get vaccinated. Yeah. All we're saying is we got questions about the vaccine. That's it. And there hasn't been much transparency into what went behind the testing and what have you. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, Arch, I got a good question for you.
Yes.
How much of your net worth would you put into watches? Like for the average person who is a bit of an enthusiast, not like a complete maniac, but like a good enthusiast.
Okay, let me just come back to that. Alfredo, CGC, $3. Thoughts on the Grand Seiko SBGA 415 stuck in Texas weather? Do you know what model that is, by any chance, Marco?
Yeah, I'm going to pull it up. SBGA 415.
Yep.
I got it, Arch. I got it for you. That's why we get paid the big bucks around this place. Oh, I don't like this watch.
It's just very ordinary. Very ordinary.
It's got no bezel. Look at this. It has no bezel.
Yeah, it's an okay watch. Beautiful finish. The bracelet is amazing. The finish on it is amazing. But you know what? Stick with Rolex. Dark BBC, $2. COVID vaxxers simultaneously tested on mice and humans. Thank you, Doc. And Watch and Pray, $2. Accept 50% loss on BO1 Navi and buy more. No, keep your BO1. I wouldn't take a 50% loss. That is.
The B01 movement is a fantastic movement, Arch.
It is, yeah.
I wouldn't be taking a 50% loss. And Kryptonite Frog, buckle up, little Jimmy, or Rolex gone, Cactus. Now, I tell you this now, JJ was asking me what % of investments. Let me give you a figure, okay?
Sure.
20 to 30%. That's your answer.
No, I was thinking about 20% because at first I was like, if you put like 5 to 10% of your wealth into watches, that would be, I think, a good number. But if you're really an enthusiast, why not bump up to 20 and get what you enjoy as well?
Yeah.
Because you could count the enjoyment factor as double. Like, let's say you really enjoyed movies. That money you're never going to get back going to the movies. But if you enjoy watches, why not double the amount you would spend and you get the enjoyment factor.
I'm about 85% of my wealth is in watches.
Yeah, but you're the Don. You know what I mean? Don Paulione.
Yeah, but Arch, don't forget that this is technically also like the YouTube channel and the Paul Pluto channel, the ArchieLuxury channel, and this live streaming channel also have value. To be fair, it's not just like they're platforms for you as well. They're stores of value, but
You're
beyond
missing
your
a
watches,
channel,
right?
actually.
Well, strictly as a store of value, I'm under 5%, so I'm thinking about stepping my game up a bit.
JJ, don't sell your Bitcoin.
Do you want me to tell you? Do you want me to tell you? Okay, this is. I don't know if I should tell you this. Do you want me to tell you my? How do I say this? Okay, percentage-wise, I'm about 20%. Okay, that's if the wife doesn't divorce me, the house, her super, my super. Okay.
That's a fair number. 20% is a good number if you love watches, especially Rolex. You can't go.
How are the wife and kids, Arch?
They're doing okay. They're doing okay. Yes, they're doing okay.
4.1 is doing well with the infection. The infection healed, no more problems.
Oh yeah. 4.1 is good. I got him a vape for his birthday.
Ooh, those are worse than cigarettes, Arch. I don't know if I'd get that.
Only the oil-based are worse.
We got a super chat from CB.
Okay, CB, $5. I started decades ago in the hobby and might be romantic, but I buy what I like.
And Arch, didn't you buy a 4.4? What was it? Name brand clothing, and he rejected it. What is that, Arch?
Yes. But I gave it to 4.1. He took his cast offs.
There you go.
4.3 didn't want it, so it went to 4.1.
See, I buy what I like, which is Rolex sports watches.
But you know what? Everyone laughed at me 20 years ago when I had 5 Rolexes. They said, what would you do that for? Everyone looked down on me. I remember people looking down on me. I used to go on Turf, the ultimate Rolex forum. Then it became New Turfers. I was banned several times. And I got to tell you, most people then in the late 90s, early 2000s, if you were cool in watches, you were collecting PAMs.
Did you start your online presence? Archie, did you start your online presence as a troll?
Well, I was just being honest. Then if you were a serious collector, you'd have an IWC, you'd have a JJ LeCoultre. And also, collections were much smaller then. Collections have only really come off in the last... Look, you know what? I was thinking about this. 50 years ago, people used to go to churches. They used to do community-minded stuff. Now they're all materialistic sons of bitches. Okay.
Yeah. Did you see on their Timepiece Gentlemen how much of an impact the Rolex forums have on their business? Like they're constantly rotating and bumping ads on the Rolex forum. Did you see that?
You're right, Arch.
No. What did he say?
Man, I think about it now. I used to go to church.
I've actually got a person involved.
You used to go to church?
Constantly...
Every weekend, Arch, for years, probably for about like 10, 15 years. And now, it's been a little bit.
Church of Rolex for you, Marco.
Probably been
Church
at least
of Rolex.
At least a year.
Stud Muffin, $2. Would you get an SL out of the divorce? Just saying.
Guys, we don't want him to get divorced. Come on.
Oleg Fane Gold, $10. What are your thoughts on Mondani family Rolex encyclopedia books? Is the information in it really worth paying $500 for each book edition? I got the Submariner Sea Dweller edition for almost $900. Actually, guess what, guys? I've got the Mondani Patek edition. That cost me €900.
900 euros, Arch.
It's a three books.
For 3
For
books?
starters,
For the gold
I got to tell you this: the Mondani, the Patek books I got, are they worth the money? Well, they are the best. They've got every reference photographed. Okay. However, let me say this: to answer the question, is it worth it? No. I honestly think those Mondani books. Number one, English isn't their language, so they don't. It's mainly pictures. It's mainly a picture reference. Okay. And I honestly would say you could buy some books a lot cheaper Whoops, I'm just going to show you my bookshelf here.
I'm gonna put you full screen, Arch. Oh, there you
I got a vacuum. I was doing some vacuuming. Look at this. I was actually vacuuming.
Good for you.
I was
on the new
vacuuming.
carpet.
He's
You
having a
gotta keep that carpet
honeymoon
clean.
period with the carpet.
So I reckon the best book you can get there is the James Dowling one, The Best of Time. That's where
Arch, we barely hear you. We barely
the
hear
James Dowling one, The Best of Time. That's right next to that thing there. And the other one that's really good is Vintage Rolex Sports Watches, which is the green one here. Get them on Amazon. I reckon if you get a collection from Amazon, I'd rather, instead of spending $900 on those books, I'd rather get a collection of them. That's what I'd rather do.
Arch, can't you just Google search the information?
It's good to have the reference. The books are worth the money. I reckon you know the truth is, I've always kept my books, and I think they are going to be very collectible.
Yeah,
Arch,
But the Mandani ones, my God, 500! It's ridiculous what they want. Seriously.
Arch,
I've got the Patek Mandani. You've got to be a real nutty enthusiast. I did it for Patek. I'm not going to do it for Rolex. I don't have enough Rolex to justify that.
Off to work now, fellas. Have a good day. Great show. See ya.
See you later, Plastic. We love you.
Plastic.
Now, were those books always that price, or is it after they got hyped?
No, Mandani's always big, expensive books.
Well, I don't think there were hundreds when they first came out, surely.
No, they were. They were always ridiculous. No, I remember them years ago. Are these guys for real? Oh, no. They were always ridiculous.
But they are super high-end, the books. They are very nice.
I mean, the fact that Christie's and Sotheby's have books departments and stuff like that says something.
They are probably the best. Are they worth it? Look, I wouldn't buy the Daytona book unless I had watches like Doc has got.
why don't you just check on eBay, Arch? They probably sell them on eBay.
No, they actually hold their value. They're not cheap.
Really?
They're not, and that. Yeah, I got the Patek set. I wanted the Patek set because I'm a nut Patek collector. Okay.
I would just lowball somebody on eBay and just pray for the best. That's it. $300 for a book, Arch. That's ridiculous, man.
I paid £900 for 3 books. £900.
Arch, I got
900
this
euro.
book right
900 euro. 900 euro.
And my brother bought it for me. I didn't even.
No, that's actually a great book. Here we go. Bride Believe, $5. The Waterboy featuring Adam Sandler is on cable right now. And I just noticed the coach is wearing a Rolex two-tone Datejust. # Rolex in movies.
Archie, what do you think of the Vache Traditionnel?
I love it. I love that. I
saw one with a Guilloche dial and a tourbillon.
Oh, the boutique edition.
That was fantastic.
Look, the problem with Vacheron is I'd rather buy Patek than Vacheron, okay? If you're going to buy that... Look, if you're going to buy dress watch, what Marco said, unfortunately, is right. Okay?
Look at this, Arch.
Marco, you are right. You know this? I tell you this. If you're going to buy dress watch, you're going to buy Patek. Okay? I tell you honestly. The Patrimony is amazing, but I'd rather... What's the #1 dress watch in the world? Calatrava. That is it. Don't go for second. Okay?
Look at that.
Look at that.
It's beautiful.
Look at that. Amazing.
It's beautiful.
But Arch, the Patrimony is a great watch, and the movement in there, it's single barrel, 60-hour power reserve.
But I think you're better off to get a Patek. Patek does better than VC.
VC, Arch, bang per buck value. Let's be honest. I see this watch all the time. 22,000 Canadian. You can get this on Chrono 24. Arch.
Yeah. So once it's taken the hit.
Yeah, but what can you get a 5196 for? That watch is sort of comparable to a 5196.
Yeah, but the dial on this is better than the 5196.
Dial's fantastic. Dial's amazing.
And again, the finish is comparable, Arch. It's just the finishing techniques are different.
I'd rather have a 5196 than that. I'm sorry.
And you get a see-through case back on this, and a 5196 is a solid case back. The movement is very small, tiny.
I know. Actually, they did a great thing on Watchfinder. You know Watchfinder?
Yeah.
But that's owned by Richmond, so they're a bit biased.
Yeah.
Just a bit.
2 smoke, 2 stroke, $2. Would luxury to last be a future collectible? Unfortunately, no. No.
He's a co-author with Mandani.
Yeah. Mandani, actually, I got to be honest with you, his books are crazy expensive, but if you have got a Daytona collection, you'd buy it. Captain Kane, $2. Rolex Cellini, avoid like the plague. Avoid. CB, $5. Calatrava, a mass made. Of
I
course,
wouldn't go
everything
that
is.
far. It's not mass made, Arch. It's still done by hand.
Well, a lot of machinery is used there, but it's beautifully executed.
Yeah, but I mean, they're still on the. Remind me, Arch, because I don't know much about modern Pateks. But are they the watches? They mill out kind of the case and then they solder on the lugs, or it's kind of like a milled out case to begin with?
Look, to be honest with you, you've got to understand CNC machines have come out, right?
Yeah,
right.
fair enough.
And they do amazing work. Okay, I'm not sure whether it's as traditional as it once was. Okay, it's all makers. All makers.
Like Breguet still cold rolls their cases and solders on their lugs and then removes the soldering marks, right? So that's pretty impressive.
Supposedly. Don't forget the Type 20 is not a column wheel chronograph. Would that it?
Yeah, but that's their sport. Arch, come on, this isn't a dress watch, right? They don't put much detail into those watches. It's not.
It's still expensive. Same price as a Daytona new.
Yeah. But look, I mean, that's just because Breguet's a little out of their minds. The French are. Listen, I'm French, Arch. We're a little bit pompous. You know what I'm saying?
Breguet moved to Switzerland. They moved to Switzerland.
Yeah,
but let me say this to you.
French.
Seriously, I think honestly, if you're going to buy dress watch, get Patek dress. They are relative bargain in this marketplace.
What about the Jules from AP, Arch? Jules from AP is actually, listen, they're dogs, absolute dogs, and they tank big time. Those are nice too, though.
What's the Jules? Bring it up. Yeah. What are you talking about?
It's their dress watch ranks. Sorry, hold on.
I don't know. This is.
Oh, I just got a chat here. 5196 has the same finishing as any Patek Grand complication. That's why it's the best 215 movement of the best movements of all time. The Grand Classique. Oh, the Jules Audemars.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're amazing second-hand value. They're unsellable. You do realize that, don't you?
They're
absolutely.
Really, they're so toxic. They're more toxic than any dress.
The code 1159.
Yeah. You know what's even worse? What's the oval shaped watch from AP? I forget what it's called. You know that oval watch?
Millenary.
Millenary.
Oh my goodness, that's even more toxic, Arch. Ooh, I like it's like a open.
You know what? Kind of the Jules Audemars is not that bad a watch. It's actually quite a beautiful watch. You know, I quite like it.
This one right here. I actually like this watch, Arch. It's actually not ugly. It's just a weird shape. I wish they did in a round.
Steve Cordaro, $2. Overseas pump and dump. It's 2 available at AD. Look, I would seriously get a Gen 2 second. I was offered a Gen 2 white dial for 9.2 Aussie, Steve. 9.2 Aussie. Okay, that was naked, without the straps, just watch only, naked, and I reckon I still preferred, I could have got that for cheaper than my Milgauss. You know that? Yeah. What would you have gone for?
Listen, they're different watches, Arch. They're different watches entirely, because the VC Overseas Gen 2 is a sports dress watch, right? And the Milgauss is a pure sports watch, let's be honest. It's not really a dressy piece. So they're competing kind of differently.
Steve Cordaro, $2. Okay, we did that one. And Captain Kane, $2. Why not Cellini? Pull up the moon phase. Why not? Because Rolex, the Cellini haven't been waterproof. They're not the oyster type cases. That's the reason. That's the whole thing. I love the moon phase because the last moon phase was the 8171 they had years ago, which I actually took some photos of. I actually had photos of an 8171. Look, all honesty, I don't hate this watch. It's beautiful.
It's really nice.
But if you're going to buy a dress watch, you buy Patek. I'm sorry. Look, Patek does dress. Rolex does steel sports. This is just the rules. I mean...
You ever hear the expression, keep it simple, stupid? You know what I mean?
Yes. KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. That's how
And Patek dress watches.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly it. And here we go. Stud Muffin is asking about a Raymond wheel. What the hell are you doing, man? Can you pull up the Raymond wheel?
No, I can't.
No, Raymond wheels, just avoid. Do not.
My hands are suddenly paralyzed. They can't pull up the Raymond wheel.
What are we going to be pulling up next? Dan Henry?
Yeah,
Rooted
exactly.
Rotor, Gen 3 walks all over Gen 2 except the chrono. No, the Gen 2 is far. I like the dial on the Gen 2. It's crazy. Bear Clooney, Gen 2 is shiter.
Yeah, man.
Ooh, Bear. Arrgh. Look, stay away from VC. I bought Rolex. I could have gone for that. Vacheron, but I decided to get my Milgauss instead. I'm sorry. Okay?
I have a friend who knows I like watches, and she's like, "Oh, what do you think about Daniel Wellington?" And I was like, I tried to lay her down easy because I know she has a Daniel Wellington. I'm like, they're not bad, they're okay.
You just said, look, they're a fashion watch. They're okay at a.
I didn't know how to say it, Archie. Like, I felt like saying it's a watch you can get for $10 on Alibaba, except it doesn't say Daniel Wellington on the dial,
Yeah, they're actually very popular, aren't they, Daniel Wellington?
Yeah, I mean, it is what it. They're like MVMT.
They're cheap.
They're the new MVMT, because MVMT has become expensive.
Really?
I'm pretty sure they're like a couple $100 now.
You know, a girl buys her own watch when she's wearing a Michael Kors watch or something like that.
Every decent watch I have seen, JJ, you can back me up on this. Every decent watch that a girl wears, you know what?
Bought by a man.
Bought by a man. You know that. How do you know that?
Life experience. I've never seen a woman go out and spend $7,000 on a Rolex or something like that.
What do you reckon, Beth T? You think Beth T got into watches because of her husband?
Yeah.
She's married?
Yeah,
she's married?
She's got a ring on her finger, I'm pretty sure.
Pretty sure she got a giant ring on her finger. But
yeah, she's got a big ring on her finger. It's pretty hard to miss.
I've never met a girl who got into watches on their own. Like, they just, I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's much more rare. I would say, maybe 10% of the watch collectors are women, 15%?
They tend to collect those fashion brands, let's be honest, Arch. Not fashion brand, jewelry brands like Chopard, things like that. You know what I mean? Cartier, Chopard. Those are the watch brands that are more.
Anthony Napoli, I don't have a 5146. That's the model after mine. I got a 5035, which is substantially less. Stud Muffin, $2. Pull up that Pacific Raymond wheel.
It's not gonna happen, Stud Muffin. I love you, man. You're a loyal viewer. I'm not pulling up a Raymond wheel on the Ponish slide.
Eldon Clark, $5. Rolex is a fashion watch.
It's a well-made fashion. It's still technically a well-made, well-regulated fashion watch. I guess.
No, it's not a fashion watch. It's a real watch that came into fashion. There's a difference.
It's yes. Very good answer there.
I mean, it's like you know what the opposite of that is? Like a Porsche SUV, because everyone wants an SUV, but they like Porsche. But that's not the essence of Porsche. It's I don't know. I mean,
hey, JJ, can I use that line?
Sure.
Because I had people say to me, I'm into Rolex and I want to get a Patek. And I say, oh, you should get a World Time. I go, no, I want a Nautilus or an Aquanaut. I said, well, that's not the essence of Patek. Right. The same as Porsche. Porsche is not an SUV maker. They make the 911. They make the Cayman.
You know what drives me crazy? I'll tell you what. Like when people buy Louis Vuitton sneakers, Louis Vuitton is meant for luggage and trunks.
Yes, like luggage, trunks. They're not meant for.
Right. The sneakers don't impress me. Buying Louis Vuitton sneakers.
Here we go, Stud Muffin. Can you pull up Raymond Weil 145845 SCG? What the hell?
Come on,
pull it up. We'll never hear the end of this.
He paid 3 times.
He's not happy with me. He wants me to pull it up for him. So I'm
because he paid 3 times for it. It's actually I pulled it up myself. It's interesting.
What does it look like?
It's like a
Oh, it looks like a Zenith, doesn't it?
Hold on, let's get this super chat very quickly.
Captain Kane, $2. Arch, Calatrava, 30 meters, and Cellini, 50 meters. I never said the Patek was waterproof. It's still not an oyster case. It's not an oyster case. I wouldn't take any of those in the pool. You got leather straps. Do you know how expensive those leather straps are? Captain, okay, what do I think of this watch here? I got to be totally honest with you. It looks like a Patek but it's the devil. The devil is in the detail. What the ugly thing is to this? Just bring up this one here, Marco. That with the bracelet. That bracelet looks really nasty and cheap.
Which one?
The font is
the
crap
buckle.
on
The
dial.
buckle. Look at the buckle there. The buckle
Look at
there.
the
Bring that up.
font.
Bring that
The
up
font is
because that
crap.
that looks really nasty. Look, it's just garbage. Okay, look seriously. What do you want this to be? It's gold plated. What is it? What is it?
Look at this. Look at the movement. It doesn't even fit the case.
They're gonna actually
That's
sometimes
a telltale sign.
Patek does the same thing too. But
You know
Yeah, but
who
Arch, that's a
you know who
telltale
else just
sign.
did
It's
that
an EPA
recently?
problem.
What's
FP
that?
Journe just did that on their 42 mil octaloon because
Yeah,
it's the same
it
movement as the
didn't
40
fit.
mil. They just
look,
put a
I got to tell you, man. Seriously, this watch is just garbage. Raymond Weil is never a luxury watch. Okay, it's okay if someone gave it to you. That's okay. Enjoy it, wear it. But you know what? It's not high horizon. This is garbage. It's gonna
Give it
be
to the
worthless.
gardener.
It's out of
Nobody-
stock. Arch. How much does it cost? I want to find out how much. 11,000 euros.
Oh, dear.
Wow.
Stud Muffin,
okay.
I love you, man. You're a loyal viewer to the channel. It's not gold plated, by the way. It's actual gold. But you
Wow.
got a 10,000, like 11,000 euros, not dollars. Excuse me. That's
It's
unbelievable.
20,000. 20,000 Canadian, isn't it?
I don't even know. Let's pull it up.
That's just ridiculous.
16,000, 17,000 Canadian, March.
The font looks really crap for Raymond. The way it's written, it looks like Mate Tissot font,
I would
which
just
is
Here we go.
just
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
DWP 64, $5. Bought an Omega Moonwatch Halcylite 2017 version 3600. Sold on eBay for 52. Should I take it or keep seller's remorse? Bought an Omega Moonwatch Halcylite 2017 for 3600. Sold on eBay. Take the money. Take the money. Yeah,
It'll go
take the
back
money.
down, I think it'll go back down once these new ones are
Yeah.
well in
It-
stock.
There's too many. There's too many of them. I'm sorry. Okay.
Listen, just to answer Stud Muffin, because he did super chat a couple times. Arch, we brought up a better chronograph, unquestionably, on this live stream, the first Omega in space, and it's cheaper. I mean, I get it's in a steel case, so it's more usable. Get the first Omega in space.
Well, guess what?
That
Guess
Raymond
what?
Weil shitter.
That Raymond Weil, the Vacheron Series 2, everyone's criticizing Gen 2. That was 9,200 Aussie it was offered to me for. You tell me which is the better watch.
Arch, I love you, man. The Gen 2 is not as good as the Gen 3. It's not even close.
No, but the Gen 2, compared that to the Raymond Weil.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
That's what I'm saying. The Raymond Weil and Tim
Look, we got
Wright's
Arch.
on.
We got the one and only. Oh, no.
Hey, Tim, how are you, man?
Hey, I loved your latest video where you talk about the 41.
Yeah, you like
Yeah,
that?
yeah, I loved it. Thank you for telling me that my 40 is just as good.
Yeah, no worries, Tim. No worries.
You saved me a lot of money, I gotta tell you. I can sleep
Yeah.
at night because I know, hey, Don
Yeah.
thinks it's okay.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
He just wants to make you feel better.
Yeah.
41 is
And
well.
I gotta tell you, it made me feel better. You know, when you made that video with plastic, I thought, that's so nice to hear.
Yeah.
Archie's such a
Plastic's
cool
here.
guy. Oh,
Yeah,
hey, plastic.
Plastic's there.
Hey guys, how's that for the Camry audio? Is that all right?
It's very good.
Yep.
That's surprising yeah, because the old Astro was garbage. Remember I used to call him that?
Yes.
It's like being in a washing machine.
Yes.
What have I missed? I just had to have a shower and a shit and all that sort of stuff. What have I missed?
Doc BBC $2. I almost got Wheel at 10,000. Luckily, drugs kicked in. Very good. Hey, we're just talking about investing in watches. That's the way to go, man. Buy Rolex.
Well, mate, you remember when I got my Submariner, right? I was already into Omega and Breitling. I got a Submariner to fulfill my fantasy of having the trilogy of ultimate dive brands, dive watches. I didn't buy it for value at all. I was lucky enough at the time to get it below retail, pretty much brand new piece box papers, because that was before the Rolex bubble started to take off. But then since I bought it, I've been in love with the brand and love with Rolex Sports. So I'm just lucky that I love Rolex Sports watches. I think that's, if you're lucky enough to love that, then everything else is a bonus. You know what I mean?
Arch, let's be honest. Plastic isn't a watch collector. It's a watch investor. You gotta get the Rolex because it goes up in value.
No, mate. I bought my Submariner because I wanted the Submariner.
Plastic.
Yeah, but you don't know the backstory, Marco. You're telling porkies. No, seriously, mate.
Yeah, no, I got to tell you, plastic.
Paul remembers.
Plastic, Rolex makes him happy. That's what makes him happy. Yeah. Like he would never even sell that stuff. Even if he made 10,000 on each watch, he just wants to gloat about it and keep the collection. He doesn't want to sell anything. He's like a Bitcoin investor. He'll buy more. As the price goes more and more crazy, he'll buy more. He'll have this stupid belief that it can never stop. Eventually, if you research Ponzi schemes, you eventually find enough idiots that eventually run out of idiots to put money in, and that's what's going to happen to Bitcoin.
Watches, buddy. Yeah, I reckon Bitcoin is definitely a Ponzi scheme, 100%. The sum of the top is going to get mega rich, and everyone's going to just lose their ass. I believe that, 100%.
I don't think the guys at Tesla, like Elon Musk, that are geniuses, are that stupid to fall for a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, I agree.
Apple's even looking into
Yeah, you guys think that those guys are so smart.
They are smart.
No, plastic, you're right. No, those people are not smart. They're not smart.
Around us. What are you talking about?
No.
Yeah, man, that's a kickable offense. Come on.
What are you talking about?
I
don't worship anyone. I don't think any of these guys are brilliant geniuses. I don't believe that they just get lucky. That's all it is.
All right, we'll have to agree to disagree.
Yeah. You know, that's the thing. Hard work and luck. That's what success is.
Right.
Yeah.
Look at Tim.
The luck.
How did he get all
How
those
do you think I
Rolexes
have the
at
panda?
retail?
He's so lucky. Tim, he's so lucky. Every venture he's pretty much invested his time in has been a massive success. He's so lucky. That doesn't happen.
The guy has 5 successful companies about to go.
That has nothing to do with luck.
About to do round trip travel to
the fact that he was in the position to do what he does.
Typical Bernie talk right here.
Nothing to do with Bernie. I don't work.
Hey guys, we're gonna have to wrap this up here. This is getting a bit hot here. I gotta, guys. I gotta tell you.
Hold on. Let me
Oh, lucky I came back on. This is awesome. It's fun.
I gotta tell you guys, we're gonna wrap this up. I love yous all. It's 2 stroke, 2 smoke, $2. Tim slowly spending his left-wing propaganda. Thank you. Guys, we'll see you tomorrow.
There's one more.
Oh, and Douglas Stewart, $5. Discuss VC Series 2 versus Series 3. Guys, we'll be back tomorrow. I love yous all. And keep investing in Rolex. Keep this Ponzi scheme going a bit longer.
Rolex, please.
Later, guys.